Welcome to the Digital Journey Podcast. Every successful online business entrepreneur has an incredible story to share about their journey to success. Listen and learn from top digital mavericks and online business insiders as they share their secrets so you can live the lifestyle you deserve. Your pilots for today's journey, Rob Fortney and Nick Nimmin. Welcome aboard, passengers. The digital journey begins now.
Welcome to the Digital Journey Podcast, navigating your online business voyage. I'm Rob Fortney from the Amazon Gorillas and my partner, Nick Nimmin. How are you doing today, sir?
I am rocking, Rob. Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm having a great day.
Right,
and
with
I'm excited to be here today.
111,000 followers on Facebook. Did I
on
get
YouTube.
That?
No, you didn't get it right. You did not. Yeah. So today, so far, you've messed up my name and you messed up my platform of choice. Right.
Hey, that's why we do it. If this is your first time listening, thanks for coming. And if you are returning, it's so nice to see you again. Thanks for tuning in each week. The Digital Journey Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment and education.
Feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed so you don't miss any info nuggets that may be a game changer for you and your digital business. And if you want to see the video version of this podcast, go to our website, digitaljourneypodcast.com.
All right, so our guests for today's show are Simon and Quan, and they are online app builders that specialize in language learning apps. How are you guys doing?
Hi, I'm Quan.
Hi, I'm Simon. Thank you.
Thank you. We are good.
So they're going to show you how to build processes and how to outsource your content production and probably some other great stuff.
And before we get into that, I want to let you know that the Digital Journey Podcast is brought to you by our friends at EmpireFlippers.com. Empire Flippers is the #1 curated marketplace for buying and selling established, profitable online businesses. Visit their website at EmpireFlippers.com and see what businesses are for sale. And if you already own a business, there's a great place on their website where you can get your business evaluated and see how much it's worth. Let's get this journey started.
All right, welcome back again. We've already welcomed you one time, so let's just jump
Let's just
right
keep
in.
welcoming them for a little bit. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
We're extra polite here on the podcast. So let's just jump right into it. So give me your guys' background. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention, this is the first time we've had two guests on at the same time.
Yeah.
So you guys are our first.
You guys are the first, yeah.
We're going to see how that works with one microphone. We'll stumble our way through it and move on. So give me a little bit about your background, like what you did prior to your digital journey. Like what was your terrestrial job? What did you do on a daily basis?
Okay, so let me talk first. Again, my name is Quan. I'm from Thailand. And this is Simon from Germany. So we are married about 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we were living, 2 years ago, we were living in Germany. We were IT consultancy. We have IT background. We did many IT projects, including building mobile applications since our studies. And when we were working at the IT consultants, both of us in Frankfurt, in Germany, we had to work pretty long time, which is about 60 hours a week. And we were thinking, okay, are we gonna use our life? Are we gonna selling our times to the company for this amount of money? So, and this kind of thinking were coming along, and we were thinking, so we should do something that we can do and we are good at and we're happy to do it, and it could bring us out of this cycle of being a consultancy. And yeah, we were thinking about doing a mobile application. Why? So first, we were IT guys, and we were specialized in doing project like IT project, and you see that a lot of growing is happening in mobile.
Oh yeah,
everything's going to mobile.
Yeah, so that's why we was thinking about doing mobile application. And then what kind of mobile application? And at that time, Simon was learning Thai language, and I had to teach him like doing everything on my own, and it's kind of maybe we could use this material into the app, and Simon can do the coding. So then we can use up our know-how. Simon will do coding and I'm do everything else like app design and content. And yeah, that was the starting of our Simply Learn Thai app, which is now in the Play Store. And that
You're
time,
number one for language apps right now, right?
Yeah, if you
Nice.
were searching for Learn Thai.
Learn Thai.
Yeah,
On Android.
and on the Android.
So do you guys know, like, is that similar to like other platforms? Do you know how many searches there are a month on something like that? That was the first question that came to me. So do you know, is there 100,000 searches a month on the Android app, or you just know what your end of your sales results are?
So we can't really tell the exact number of the searches overall, but it's probably almost similar to Google searches right now, because it's really big. So Learn Thai. So we are on the first spot of Learn Thai and in the Android store, and we have about right now like 300-400 downloads a day. So that's about the. But Learn Thai is pretty niche, right? So of course other keywords will be much bigger. But yeah.
That's fascinating. 300 to 400 downloads a day. Like from the outside, because I'm not in the app business, especially not in the language business. Like that's amazing that 300 to 400 people a day are plugging into, searching for and downloading a specific, Thai language app. That's awesome.
But that's only the half truth, because it's not it's not all English. Because one of our things we did was localizing the app into as many languages as possible.
Nice.
And so the amount of downloads is probably only 15% English.
Okay.
So the rest are all other languages like Chinese, Korean, German, Japanese. Yeah, that's like
Nice, man.
so
That was
we
a
are
great
pretty-
move. Yeah, going into multiple languages like that as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
great move.
So that was end of 2014 where we started developing the mobile app, and then 6 months later we were using for the development, and we launched the app in 2015, the beginning of 2015, with this the application does not look nice, but we think, why don't just put it to the store and let people see how they like it, because in the store there are not a lot of Thai apps that is like kind of have a good
We'll just go ahead and say that they're not any good, except for yours. We'll go ahead and just say that.
Yeah, especially back then when we started to develop the app, there were really just bad apps out there. So and that was also something like Kwan said, okay, let's start this Facebook app, and then I said, why? I mean, it's like probably even then there were 50 apps already out there like doing the same thing, right? But if you look at this at the apps, they were really, really basic and really bad content and all that, and the recording quality, and there were a lot of things we could improve. So I thought it's still not innovative, but in the end I thought, okay, it makes sense to actually look at the market and see, okay, where is some potential, because we of course we saw that these apps are getting downloads and are also paid for a little bit. So it makes a lot of sense to improve on existing apps.
Our theme happens to be, with every entrepreneur, it seems like, is put it out, let people look at it, because what you think is not done is probably enough to get started, and then improve from that position, because you can't improve it. You can keep doing it and doing it and do it, and finally you just got to go, okay, here's where it's at, and then let's let people decide. And you may have put in the 20% that matters already, and the other 80% isn't really going to get you that much more business. So we see that over and over again, which is just get started and do something.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know. So with creating an online app, like a language app, like in addition to the coding side, you're actually recording all of the phrases that you say, like all the words, all the phrases, and all that stuff. Out of curiosity, how many hours are involved? I mean, because that has to be, the library involved with that has to just be humongous.
So is it your voice?
Yeah, it is my voice.
Okay.
And
So we know it's authentic. We'll go ahead and say that, right?
So there are actually 3 steps of doing content. The first one is translation, and then we do a recording, and after that we will proofread testing the app.
Okay.
In content's perspective. So for translation, we just gather some phrases, and now I think in the Thai app we have around more than 1,500 phrases.
Wow.
And each phrase will maybe, let's say, 5 seconds. So it can be hours and hours to listen to all phrases in our app. And for recording, because it was starting and we didn't really know it's gonna work out or not. So we just have a microphone and then go on a quiet place, and then I just start recording. And it took time because I have to stop and see how it works. So I cannot say like in hours because it's like very long time, like time consuming on editing and yeah.
So you didn't start out and go into some studio and have a quiet booth and do that. You just found someplace quiet, put a microphone up and did it.
Yeah.
Again,
just
get
doing
started.
It. Right.
Grab a microphone and get in front of it and do it. If it sucks, you can go change it later on.
Yes.
And the great thing is you may never have to. It may just be good enough out of the gate. Yeah. But do something. You have the tools. You have everything necessary to do this, whatever your business is. And our last phrase we learned in our last podcast, or maybe 2 podcasts ago, which is just-in-time learning. Yeah. Which means you don't need to know step 8 before you know step 2. So when you need step 2, get started on step 2. And then when you get to step 3, go learn that process. You don't have to learn them all, because when you learn the one down the road, it's preventing you from doing the one that's important right now, which may have been recording it, and you're down trying to figure out how to build an app, and you don't even have the voice recordings done.
Yeah. So when it comes to updating and things like that, because you started it that way, right? Where you're okay, I'm just going to grab a microphone and go for it. So at what point, since 2014, at what point did you say, okay, now I'm going to have to go back in and re-record all of these again with different stuff, or have you just kept it?
In the starting of 2015, after we launched the app, right, we got a lot of feedbacks from the customers, from the users, like negative and positive one. And for the negative ones are something like, too small content and the quality may become improved. So at that point, when I started to add more content, we afford like better microphone, and then I re-recorded everything again.
Ooh.
Yeah, after
so you did it twice.
Yeah.
And also a lot of people said, okay, for Thai we want to have a male version as well. So because you have krap and ka, right? Like a little bit different between male and female. And we only had the female version, and then based on that feedback, here in Thailand we actually hired a student to record all the male phrases as well.
Yeah.
Well, let me give them what krup and ka is, so you may not be in Thai. We live here, so and why don't you just tell them so I don't have to screw it up.
Butcher the language.
Right. I'll butcher it anyway. Go ahead, tell us the difference between krup and ka.
Sorry. So in Thai, female and male are speaking differently. Like for the word I, female they have like dichan, and male have pom. And to every phrases you can add more polite in the phrase, and the female will add ka at the end of the phrase, and male will add krap at the end of the phrase.
And the language is, in just my basic knowledge, and I should know more after 2 years, but it is very polite. Like everything tends to be who you're addressing, and just to be overtly polite and kind in the language. So it's a very amazing language. Now, because I'm kind of tone deaf, it's a huge struggle for me. Like people laughing at me, you're never going to speak Thai. Well, I'll just have to practice and practice. But anyway, so I'm going to have the app.
Get downloaded. So in the app, do you guys have like is it just language, like word and phrase based, or do you also instruct on like how to arrange sentences and sentence structure and things like that?
Yeah, for the Simply Learn app, we only have phrases and words that are kind of common for travelers. So we are targeting for the tourists.
Okay.
Yeah, but nevertheless, you can learn at home for work for something else as well.
Sure.
Because we have like, as I said, like more than 1,500 phrases. So it would be something that you would need.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's the existing app, right? And then in the past 8 to 9 months, we created the second language learning app. So basically, with the phrasebook, we are finished. We still adding a little bit, but basically the coding is finished. But then now we developing a new app called Ling, and that is much more interactive. So there the user can also learn how to form sentences. We have a lot of grammar tips. We have learn how to write even, learn how to speak, like compare your performance against a native speaker in speaking with the microphone of the phone. Yeah, so
basically with that, what it will be is there's the native speaker, and then you record it with the microphone, you saying it, And does it actually, do you have like an algorithm that compares the two and says, okay, well, you are 87% correct?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Wow,
That's
awesome.
Except we didn't create our own algorithm because right now the Google and Apple space recognitions are pretty good already. So we use their algorithm basically. But so we couldn't do our own better. So that's pretty nice because they actually not open source but made it available to developers just this year. Yeah. So all the others are probably using like worse things than us.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was not paying attention. I wanted to pull up the app. So which one is your guys?
This one, this again,
All right.
yeah.
With-
Not the vet.
And so I know I have downloaded that. I have used it. So definitely because I've went through all of them. So and I don't even remember. I'll have to look at it again. I think it's the one I actually like. But it has a great rating, and that's the way the first thing is. So anyway, so I found it because I can download it when we're done.
Yeah.
So since you guys are in the app business, right? At what point did you say, you know what, this is actually something that we can actually turn into a business instead of like, hey, let's make this and see how it works. Hey, it's working. We're starting to be able to generate some income from this. At what point along your journey did you say, okay, this is something that we can actually do as our career or profession, something that we can be in?
So yeah, after we launched the app, like in March 2015, we got a lot of feedbacks, got many downloads from the users, and we improved the app, and the users were liking our apps. They sent out an email, say thank you, and we were like very appreciate that they think that our app is great for them, and we added more content because if we want to go on like pursue this career, we have to have more content. So we add more content and we put that content as a cost. So the user will have to pay for the large amount of content.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like about 3 months where we added more content, re-recording the app, translate the app, and also translate the app into German because there are a lot of German customers, and add the algorithm to the user to buy the app. It took us about 3 months, and then in June we launched the next version, which is for the user to buy it, and within a week we got some sales. And
We like to stop there because one of the most important things that we talk about on every show is that first initial money. So like when you started converting, talk about that day, the first day you guys went,
Yeah.
oh my
that
gosh,
first sale. That first
look,
sale.
Like it is amazing. Every time we do this, everybody lights up. If you could see the smiles on their face. So let me tell you this, if you can get to the money as quick as possible, and I don't care if it's $5,
Yes.
that $5 matters. So tell us about that first day when you saw money coming in.
Yeah, so I really remember the exact position. Like we went to we were at a restaurant in Frankfurt where we both worked, and then I always checked with my phone the stats or something with the downloads, and then we just set up this thing there that they can actually buy something from our app, and then the first sale came, and I just like thought, wow, is it really real or is it a fake? Like sometimes we had to test things or something. But then I checked, and then a person from Texas, and then that was real. And then actually
That's how big of an impact that it made. You remember where they were from.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's awesome.
It is a huge impact.
Yeah.
I think in the first day was really cool because we had like
Go ahead, keep going.
we had like I think 4 or 5 sales just this day. But I think that was just because that was our hardcore fans. Like probably they use the app every day, and then they say, "Oh, now I can buy it." So they bought it. So at the next day it was not that great, but still it was crazy that we. So I think at this time I already thought, okay, then now we can quit our jobs.
yeah.
We're quitting.
Yeah, they're like, all right, we sold one. We're out.
Yeah.
We're walking
We're out.
in. Yeah, we're walking in. We're telling the boss, big middle finger to that guy.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking like, look, this is only the Thai app. If we just create another, learn German, learn Spanish, learn Chinese, we could have them added up. So if we sell one app per day, 50 languages, so it could be 50 sales a day. So it's like our full-time job.
Yeah, nice.
So-
So without getting into like exact details, like out of like 300 to 400 downloads per day, a rough estimate, what is a conversion rate on something like that in the app world?
I would say benchmark is around 1% for like ours is a freemium model. So you get the limited content first, and then you have to purchase the entire app for an amount of dollars. So for this specific thing, it's about 1%, and for us it's similar, but it really varies between the countries. So we have a lot of downloads, for example, Russia or Brazil, and there is more like 0.1%. But then from US, Germany, South Korea, it's more than one. It's like probably 2 or a little bit more percent. But that's around the estimate. Yep.
Nice.
What was the biggest hurdle you had in getting started? What was the biggest thing you had to overcome? And like you can add on the end of that is was there a time you made a huge mistake that maybe in the end turned out to be a godsend that was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we made that mistake because it helped us get to this next point?
Yeah, what was the struggle? So I think the first thing struggling was that when we worked besides our jobs, that was just really hard because we had also pretty hard jobs like day jobs like consulting. So you are expected to work longer than 40 hours a week, and so we worked longer, and then we also on the top did the app. So both of us, both of us was really only working like 1 year, maybe only working, and we didn't know if it's going to work out at all, like because we didn't have in mind like that we can, in the beginning we didn't have that much in mind that we can have other apps, because so we focused only on the Thai app, and so until we came to this idea that we can also make more apps, and until we made our first sales, it was really hard because we just did like that thing for nothing, for not sure what we will achieve there. And I think for me, for your question, like with the mistake, I think for me, I thought it was a huge mistake to publish the app so early because it looked so bad, like really bad, and we had some bugs. And I mean, I'm the coder, right? So I always think, oh shit, that this bug is really like what kills us. And then I thought we have to, and then I read some blogs and all that, and podcasts, and they say how to market this thing, and we didn't do that much of that. We just put the app basically out there and waited first, and then we did some Facebook promotion. That was all, but then that turned really out to be like really good for us because that really motivated us. Not even with the sales, but just that we had the app out there, and then we posted on some Facebook groups, like, do you love our app? Could you give us some feedback? And then it was just surprising to me that there was actually good feedback. And then the first thing came like, oh, the app isn't, because I posted in German groups. So then the first feedback was, could you make the app in German? And then that's the first thing we did, maybe in 1 or 2 days, to translate everything in German and put the code inside. And then they were really happy, of course, of that, that we were so responsive to them. So that really gave us a huge push.
So for me, the struggling, I would say it came after we launched the Thai app. So we started to do German app, Spanish, and Chinese. So that means a lot of translation, recording, and sound editing. And I have to do sound editing and recording with the person on my own. So it took a long time for me, for really long time. And I have to edit the sound and cut the sound like manually one by one. So I was like very not happy, and
sure.
I told Simon,
almost crying.
Yeah, can you please help me something if there is a tool that can automate this kind of stuff. So Simon just had a look, and then he created some tools, like software tools for me.
You created tools to edit the audio?
No.
That's the bonus of having a coder, right? In your
for the translation,
Yeah, like not exactly for the audio cutting and for the audio audio editing. There we use basically Audacity, but so we create a little bit these add-ons.
Because that's an open platform, right? Yeah.
But I didn't code there. I looked into it, but it's pretty complicated there. But what was really helpful, I think, was because for every app or for every new language, we create a new app. But it's the same code, but it's still a new app with new screenshots, with new, like content, all that. And there we did a lot of automation because you could do all that manually with the screenshots and everything, but that's like crazy because also all the screenshots are in different languages, right? So for one app, we have like probably 1,000 screenshots.
Oh, wow.
And like 50 different, store descriptions. And that I all automate with scripts, yeah.
All right, so guys, a lot of people listening are out there and they're trying to get started in their business. Like they're at the point and they're working their full-time jobs. So it leaves this small amount of time. So, maybe they got an hour a night, maybe they got weekends or whatever it is. What kind of tips would you give people who are in that space? Because you guys are working 60 hours a week and you're spending this time. It's frustrating. It's got you almost in tears. What would be some of the things you would suggest to people who are working right now in their full-time job, trying to figure out, and what we call your escape is escaping the hamster wheel. You're just chasing that thing of working time for money. So what would you tell people to be able to help get off of that?
Yeah, that's a little bit hard because I think Kwan was at the point, right, where she almost, lost her mind because she had so much work. But that was when we already were in business, actually, right? So, but I think in the very beginning, if you don't make any money and you're just starting out, I think it's just necessary to really stay motivated. And I think, and you just have to put in all these hours. That's just not a way around it. And probably good for me. Something good was that I listened to a lot of podcasts and like yours. But I listened mostly to app-related podcasts. But that really motivated me because there are these entrepreneurs that were actually successful. So it's like that's like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Sure.
Right? And then it just helps you to not give up. And I think the other one is just to maybe work with someone else together if possible. Like, because I think if I would have done it alone, there were so many ways in the route. There were so many crossing points where we thought, okay, maybe I give up, or I just put this to rest now, this project, for a few months, and it will be years, right? But since the other person was already so motivated, then we push us up each other, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you're married.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did the business interfere, do you think, in your relationship at all? Did it put stress inside of your relationship?
No, actually, because we've known each other quite long, so 10 years. And then, we were working together, and because of his field of work and my field of work don't really interfere each other, because he's coder and I'm doing project management, content management, production. So
Very good.
So you
He
both
just
wear your
does
hats.
what I
You
told
basically have your. He just does. That's funny. He just
Like
does
a
what I
private
tell
life
him.
as well, right?
The secret to all relationships, just do what she asks.
Yeah, just do what she asks. Yeah, put your nose down and just get it done. Right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, did you, in the process of creating your app, did you have any ideas that you tried to implement in the app that didn't work out? Like anything that you said, okay, hey, let's put this and see if the audience is going to respond to this. Did you have anything that you put into the app or anything that you tried with the app itself that maybe backfired or anything like that? Or has everything pretty much worked the whole time?
So inside the app, we actually didn't. I don't think we tried anything where we just put out in the end. That was not the case. But for marketing, we did a lot of stuff that just didn't work.
Like what?
Yeah.
We did paid advertisement on Facebook, and that was just just so expensive that we just gave up pretty quick, and also all the other Google ads and all that. So and also we tried to do some content marketing there, but for our business it didn't really work because it's like we have so many different apps. And it doesn't really make sense to promote, for example, just a Thai app, because it's just the single click is just too cheap right now.
Yeah.
It's we would have to, for the blog, we would have to have a lot of traffic, and then but most of the traffic comes anyway from the store. So and so the only marketing that really worked was just posting on Facebook groups, because they are really targeted, because there are a lot of groups for learning languages. And just make a friendly post what do you think of this app? And then if this post get a lot of likes, then it's really the most helpful for marketing.
And that's free.
Yeah, that's
the
free,
best
right?
kind, right?
Free, the best thing in the world. So think about that, guys. I mean, and I use that technique in my business too. I look for Facebook groups. They're super targeted, and as well as create my own Facebook groups. So I have, groups. I have about 6 or 8 of them that are specific topics that, match my niche, which is the Amazon FBA business. So we talked a little bit earlier about processes and how processes helped you accelerate your business. So tell us about processes and how that's helped you develop your business.
Yeah, so the process starts once after we quit the job in 2015, and we came here in Chiang Mai in beginning of 2016, and I started to hire people to do another languages app in Chiang Mai locally. And because I did many languages in parallel, and I need to keep the process because I need to know where I am and to whom I already talked to, which language, which app is in which process already, and some part of the works has been optimized by the script from Simon, but there's some other part that is cannot be optimized by the script, like sound editing. So that's the first time we started to hire local assistant here in Chiang Mai, and with their help, we use a tool called Trello, which is a project management tool, and everyone know exactly what the other does. So we have like the list of each language. In each language, have every step what needs to be done, and then we see directly or very obviously where we are in which language. So it helped us from normally it would took me around 6 weeks to create one app, but after we get this. I got this help and local assistant. It took me around 1.5 weeks, or took us together around 1.5 weeks for one app.
Wow.
I mean, that's a 60-70% quicker, which
yeah.
creates income
and
quicker.
It's very transparent because we know where we are, and now we have more than 50 languages within 2 years.
Wow. So what are your future plans? How are you expanding as far as, right now you're at 50 languages. How wide are you going?
Yeah, now we kind of closing up this Simply Learn language app because we have both Play Store and App Store.
And moving on to Ling.
Yeah, now we're moving on the bigger language app, which is more interactive. And this app we started to hire also Thai developers to help us.
Yeah, and we will probably also take about a year to get like all of these languages in this app because it's much bigger. And so for every language we also have to hire all these people. But of course, for our developers, it's almost done, this project, at least the first version. So we actually launched the first version of Ling this week. But so we are free to do more apps. So I think we stay in the app business and probably will do other apps, but we are not sure in what exactly it is. But we will do definitely bigger things now, bigger apps in the future.
Will you expand into the iPhone? You hadn't mentioned that. Are you just doing Android or are you doing iPhone too?
Both. So I started with Android because basically I just could program this Java, which is is Android. So that was the first, and then but in Chiang Mai, while Kwan did all this content stuff, I just was coding again, this time the iOS, because I had to learn the Swift, which is the language for iOS. So it's basically the same app, just in iOS. But now for the new app, we have actually a really nice framework where you have one code for iOS and Android together, because that was just big like that. That was also a big learning thing for me in terms of technology, that I probably should have done this earlier, that we go into a framework where we have cross-platform.
What is that framework? What is that called?
It's called React Native.
Okay.
That's like the technology Facebook built their app, and they have open sourced it. So that's amazing. I would probably recommend almost any developer using that framework. Okay. Right now, at least. Yeah.
Now, from the developer side, if somebody is listening to this and they're thinking of getting into the app world, they're thinking of making apps, do you have any resources that you would recommend to people as far as maybe a training program, maybe a specific blog they should follow or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a lot out there. Right? So probably Free Code Camp is a good place to start. It's a website. And from the language, I would probably recommend JavaScript to learn first, and they have also a lot of resources. So JavaScript, there's a good book. You Don't Know JS, but yeah, it's just a lot of things out there. If you want, I can also send you links for the show notes later if you want. But yeah, it's just really easy actually to learn it, but you still have to put all these hours in because it's always
just like with anything. I mean,
Right,
with anything that you want to become good enough that you can actually turn it into a business or something like that, it's going to take some training. It's going to take some learning. It's going to take a lot of trial and error. A lot of figuring out, practice. Right,
Yeah.
right. So with the app that you are launching, that is called Ling, Ling.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and that is currently, as of this conversation, that's available in the App Store and like
Play
Android
Store.
and iOS. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So it's like Ling learn language or learn language with mastering.
Okay, nice.
And I'm thinking that one of the great things about what you've done is this doesn't go away.
Yeah.
This can be a 20-year app, you know what I mean? Because someone's still going to need to learn how to do Thai 10 years from now. And,
Right.
you're going to have 10,000 reviews and, it only builds. So to me, that's a great thing about what you guys are doing because there's long term. If you were doing something that was, very short term and you have to develop new apps all the time, that would be bad. So you can just keep building because I imagine your processes get better, your things like that. We didn't talk about the other thing, which is let's talk about outsourcing and how much we touched on a little bit, but let's really talk about outsourcing and how that's helped you grow your business.
Yeah, so the first outsourcing was so normally we hire people to translation and recording locally. So I met people and talk to them and see how they voice and ask friends, okay, are they native or not native? And as the language kind of very difficult to find, I went to Fiverr or Upwork to find voice talents and then hire them through there. And this kind of contacting people and write them message, took the demos, listen to their demos. So these are repetitive tasks, and then I think maybe I can do a better, more complex task. So we start to hire the first local assistant in June last year. It was so called accidentally because they are my recorder for the Vietnamese language.
Nice.
And I after working with them, I kind of feel like they are really good on working. They are on time and so I started hiring them and then give these tasks as repetitive to them, make it in Trello like this step, and then the how they gonna first go to there, sign in, click there, write this message, the template. You just have to change the language inside. Like I'm looking for Norwegian people or Swedish people, this kind of thing. So they just can work pretty fast on their own. And so in the end, we have more than about 8 or 9 local assistants.
Really?
Yeah.
And you prefer local assistants over people you were finding on Fiverr? Is that what I'm understanding here?
No, the people we find in Fiverr are for recording, for creating the apps. Okay. But the people in locally, they're helping me out on finding people or sound editing.
So the local assistants hire the VAs.
Yeah, the local assistant hiring the VA. Yeah, so it helped us a lot, and we were not I'm your boss. We were working together, kind of like a team, and we're building trust with each other. We are friends, having fun together, and we went to team building together, and it's kind of we are kind of small family. I would say.
Yeah, that's cool. That's probably a cool environment for them, as well. Just, because, a lot of people, I mean, you guys were there as far as dreading going to work and all that stuff. So making an environment like that for your team, that's a pretty awesome thing.
And the local assistants, they are doing virtual too. We meet maybe once or twice a week. And after that, it's free time for them.
Yeah, and then, so that's for the content. And then we also hired now recently developers. These are all Thais, and that also pretty worked out well. But that's like the other assistants mostly part-time, but the developers for development we really need actually full-time. So these are all full-time based on freelance basis, and for them I think it was really good that we had the experience from Germany, like the IT consultancy, because we also worked in teams there, in development teams, and so we could use the skills there, and like that we have weekly meeting and then daily updates and all that, and the kind of we also meet them maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, but the rest also they can work wherever they want. But I think first we wanted to do everything remote, but I think it's really better to, especially if they want to learn more, it's better to meet in person. And then and for them it's also good because then they just can ask questions all the time, and it's really it's really fun to work with them.
Sure. Yeah, very cool. Great to...
Every online entrepreneur has digital tools that contribute to their success. What's in your digital toolbox?
So this is one of our features in the show where we talk about some of the tools that you may be using inside of your business. And you mentioned some of them, so maybe we kind of go back through those so we get them all in one area. So what apps are you using, maybe even on your phone? What are you using on your computer? What blogs you talked about, some Facebook groups. What are the tools that you're using inside of your business?
So the first tool I would recommend is a project management tool called Trello. It's free. It can be used in computer and in mobile. And every time you can comment on the task, set the date of that task, set the responsible person, and make some labels and so on. And every time you comment in there will be a notification. And you know you can modify the task as you like.
Yeah, Trello is awesome. Yeah, I use Trello also. Yeah, Trello is awesome.
And this is for our development tasks as well as production tasks, but we have different one. So this one for development and the other one for production. And then the second tool we use for communication is like chatting. It's called Slack, where the developers
we hear that all the time.
Slack.
So will you explain to me the difference between Trello and Slack? Like what's the gap between both of them?
Yeah, the Trello is not like communication. You can communicate there, but it's like based on the task. You have the task and then you discuss about that task.
Okay.
Like commenting. But the Slack is like communication tool where you can chat, you can share, send pictures, or you can do like make it link to Google Google Calendar, because we have like every 2-week workshops for developer. So it will like pull out this information to the Slack to the team and say, hey, this is the workshop, and then we can discuss there or communicate there. Yeah, when was it, or any more information that we need. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. As for me, what I also use for developing specifically is Atom. That's just a IDE, and that's really.
What is an IDE?
IDE is like to write the software to write your code. Okay. Basically, and that is probably the best IDE for JavaScript. And then for the code, we use GitLab. We used to use Bitbucket, which is also very popular, but GitLab is much better. It's cheaper, and it's has more functions, and you can for example run tests online automatically and all that. So that I would recommend for the code. And then
is GitLab part of GitHub?
No,
they related? Okay.
But yeah, GitHub is a competitor.
Oh, okay.
But of course, for free code, open source code, we all use GitHub. But for our like private code, that you need a private repository to lock it with your password. There we use GitLab. Okay. And for resources, I always use, like for app development, it's a really good podcast called The App Guy. That's like about entrepreneurs who are successful mostly in the app business, and that's like I think they do every single day he does an interview, like 5 times a week, really a lot. And then the other one is App Masters, also a podcast, and that's more about app marketing. And so I asked like questions about how can you market your apps. And for like resources, I use usually Feedly, which is like a app where you can where you can read your daily, like, I mean, you assemble your blogs or feeds you want to read, and then it really gives you a nice overview on all the, and then I open this every day pretty much. Yeah, I think that's the main tools. Yeah.
Close it out.
No. We'll go to
Morning routines.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you guys have any, because it takes, you guys have the app thing, you have it down to like a smoothly running machine, so in order to do that, you have to, have some things in place as far as your personal life is concerned as well. Do you have any like morning rituals or anything like that you do in order to get your day started, make sure that you're going to have a good day, make sure everything's going to go according to plan?
Okay, well, I have really morning routines. While Quan is sleeping, I wake up and I do, like, maybe 1 month ago, since 1 month, I just do meditation 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was thinking,
Just 10
wow, 10 months of meditation. You're like, yeah, move over, Dalai Lama.
Enlightened already now. I'm not expert at all, of course. But then after that, I go swimming here at a pool nearby, and it's pretty beautiful there. So I do it really every day, and while I'm doing it, I'm usually listening to audio books on a waterproof MP3 player.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it's pretty nice because then I can read like a book a week or something while swimming, and it's just great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's basically. And you go sometimes do yoga, right?
Yeah. So for me, he's when he was doing meditation, I record my voice for guiding him, because I am doing I practicing yoga, and I am yoga teacher certified, and so I did some meditation too. So I record my voice, like sit straight and breathe in and.
Be careful, man. She's programming you. Yeah, she's sliding in all this linguistic programming stuff.
That's why you're doing what she wants.
Right. Yeah, she's tricking you, man. Be careful. Yeah.
And I have like now 5 variations of meditation. So he choose like.
By the way,
is there an app? Is there a
right?
meditation
That's the new app,
in the
isn't
future?
it?
Yeah. Is there a meditation app in the future?
Meditation app.
They're already out there, but we will have a look if we can improve on that.
Yeah.
How about that? Just the last thing I'll add to this is we see themes. I mean, we're at, I think this will be number 20 podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
And we see these themes over and over again. And one of the things we see over and over again is meditation. That even, I don't think anybody's doing more than 20 minutes, but that meditation sets up their day, usually some kind of physical activity. But the one that I see, and I actually had a conversation with somebody, is doing 2 things at one time. Like it's this expansion of you can swim and get information. You can walk and get information. So kind of double tasking, which is that 4-hour work week stuff, which is how can I do the same thing but get twice as much done at the same time. So just my observation after we hear that toolbox 20 different times, and I see some repetitive things. Slack we hear a lot about.
Yeah,
Trello.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of the same things. So definitely you need to pay attention to those things, because entrepreneurs who are successful are using them over and over again, and you should imitate what other entrepreneurs are doing, and that's why we do the podcast. Hey guys, thank you so much for visiting us and sharing your incredible story.
And real quick, if people want to know more about you, they want to get in touch with you, they want to, of course, download your app. If you want to give that a shout out again, how do they reach out to you guys?
I think. Sorry.
To our company website.
Yeah, that's one thing. Simiasolutions.com.
Okay.
So
how does it? SIMYA Solutions.com.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Or just privately on our Facebook, just add us and send us a message. So I'm Simon Bacher, Bacher is the surname.
Okay.
Fantastic. You've been listening to the Digital Journey Podcast, navigating you through your online business voyage. We'll see you next week. And if you've not listened to our previous podcast, you can check them out at our website at digitaljourneypodcast.com.
We encourage you to give us some feedback, so leave a review or send us a message. And if you have a great story that you want to share, you can reach out to Rob at gorillasonline.com or me at nicknimmin.com. And if you are interested in searching for an online business or selling your business, make sure that you check out empireflippers.com. Each week, I get an email from Justin, who's one of the partners over there, and there's usually anywhere from 6 to 10 new businesses for sale. So make sure that you check out empireflippers.com because opportunity is waiting for you there.
Thanks again, Simon and Quan. We appreciate you guys coming by so much and sharing your digital journey. We wish you tons of success in the future. We just gave you your brand new app that you're going to add to it, your new meditation app. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast and it has inspired you. Before we go, I'd like to share some wise words from some other smart entrepreneurs. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Don't wish it were easier, wish that you were better. And John Rohn is the person who gave that great information to us.
Fantastic.
See you guys soon, next week. Let's do it again.
Thanks for listening.
You're listening to the Digital Journey Podcast. The Digital Journey is brought to you by Empire Flippers, the largest marketplace for selling and purchasing online businesses. EmpireFlippers.com.